Yeah, so I wanted to put this together more or less for our clients, to utilize the strategies that your team put together there at Maximum Floats. So especially with today's time with COVID and that, we wanted to kind of utilize your services for our clients, because we have so many out there that are currently kind of going through this period with the health department and that, whether it's them closing people down for regulation purposes or just because of the COVID thing. We're going through these tough times right now, so it's a perfect opportunity for you to kind of present this model to these people. And yeah, I've worked with a number of different clients. I've visited over, I don't know, 150 locations now. I'm excited for some of our clients to be on today's stream today. And yeah, just, being in these places, seeing some of the businesses and the operations that people run, there's a lot of diversity out there. So, utilizing something that has been proven clearly from the numbers that you've given me. And it's one of those things where you take proven numbers and able to present it to people that are either getting into the business now or have been running their businesses. And like I said, the diversity there with the clients that I've met, and the different locations I've been out to, it's one of those things where, yeah, I wanted to, again, give people this proven strategy on how to get more people in the door and keep business afloat. No pun intended. So.
I love that, man. Well, thanks so much. I first found out about float pod technologies when I had my first float. So I don't know. Did you install the pods in TrueS Chico over in Chico, California?
I did not. That would have been, that would have been Devin Saul. He's actually the technical support guy over at TrueS now. So yeah, it would have been Devin actually. TrueS Chico, they opened up in 2017.
Yep, 2017. So I had my first float in July of 2017 in a float pod. And I actually just floated at the TrueS here in Austin 2 days ago. So I love float pod, and I thought it was just great that Cawthon reached out to me, and he'd seen some of the things that we'd been doing recently. And he was like, hey, I think it'd be really awesome if you could come on and just talk to my peeps, talk to the float pod squad. And when I got on the phone with Cawthon, I mean, he's just so passionate about helping you guys be successful. He's not just on a computer all day. He's literally flying out to different locations, and he has those one-on-one relationships with you. So I'm sure a lot of the people on here have probably met you in person. Is that right?
They have, yeah. And they obviously work with me on the technical support end. Yeah, so I'm the director of operations at FlowPod, and on the technical support end, that's primarily where our focus is right now. And so keeping these people operating and keeping their equipment running, that's where, they work with me on the day-to-day basis. Hopefully not too much. So.
All right. Well, shall we get started?
Yes, we shall, man. Again, I appreciate you, and I look forward to working with our clients. If you guys ever need me on technical support, feel free to give me a call, 866-295-8199. I'm extension 2. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, let's run into it. So I was just asking everyone to post in the chat where everyone's from. I'm going to pull that little that chat box up again here so that I can see that during the whole presentation here. We got Tennessee, Missouri, Canada, and New Jersey. New Jersey, I love it. And Maryland. Bobby, cool. How's it going? Awesome. So the title of this presentation is How to Get to Full Capacity Using the New Float Center Model Without Discounts or Post-Float Sales. Just out of curiosity, drop in the chat if you have ever been at full capacity. And let's go ahead and consider full capacity as like 90% or more. Put in the chat if you've ever been at full capacity for longer than 30 days. No? You can put yes or no. So yes if you have, no if you haven't. No, no. Any yeses? No, no. Okay, yep. I see this a lot, actually. There's very few float centers that actually get to full capacity. And this sucks because typically when we're starting the business in the beginning, we're creating all these financial models of if we can get to full capacity, because that's how much actual revenue we can be bringing in. And so that's the whole purpose of this webinar, is to show you one of the fastest ways that we found after working in this industry for the past 3.5 years, literally figuring out how to bring people into float centers and fill those spaces. So that's my goal for the webinar. This training is going to be for you if you own a float pod and you currently don't have a reliable way of bringing in new clients every single week. This training is for you if your blood literally boils thinking about running Facebook ads. I mean, you started a business to offer floats and to help people get transformations. You probably didn't start a business to spend a Friday night running Facebook advertising and freaking out about the tech, right? Number 3, this training is for you if you've worked with lots of marketing agencies in the past and can never quite measure the tangible value. You might have seen a lot of clicks, a lot of reach, but you don't really know if that translates into new business or not. This is for you if you don't want to spend another day of your life wondering whether or not you're going to be able to make rent this month. So this is a big thing from our clients. A lot of our clients, they are literally down to their last dollars before they start working with us. And this training is for you. What I'm going to share with you is a strategy, a proven system and strategy that you can follow to actually hit the targets that you need to hit for break even and actually getting to be profitable. This is for you if you want to get to full occupancy as of yesterday. And most importantly, this is for you if you are committed to keeping your float center open and not only making it through this time, but growing during this crazy time. So real quick, Cawthon, I've seen like 2 or 3 posts, probably even in the past week, of float centers that have shut down. And I'm seeing a lot more of that. Have you noticed that recently?
I have actually, yeah. Working with our clients and stuff, they reach out to us in regards to the warranty and that. And yeah, we've had about 3 or 4 in the last week or so that have decided to close down just because of the whole setback. So.
All right, so I'm gonna do something I've never done before. Just drop in the chat, put committed if you're committed to actually keeping your float center open. Because if you're like, I think I'm gonna sell it, I'm gonna get rid of it, I don't really want to do my float center anymore, this webinar is probably not gonna be the best thing for you because this takes work. What I'm gonna share with you on this webinar takes actual work, but it works. Super committed, super committed. Okay, awesome, great, let's keep going. This training is not for you if you're afraid of getting your hands dirty again. So like I said, this process is going to take work. If you don't care about getting your clients results and you just want to make money. So if you have a float center that it's pretty much just, you don't want to talk to anybody, you just want people to come in, float, and then leave, then this process I'm going to share with you isn't going to be a good fit for that. And then the third thing is if you're not willing to try new things. If you're just like, you know what, I'm going to do the same thing over and over and over again, and that's what I want to do forever, I'm not going to be sharing how to do what you've been doing. We're going to be talking about something completely new that really no one else in the industry is doing. So should be pretty exciting. I'm pretty excited. Let's get into it. In the next 90 minutes, my goal for you guys is to help you believe that the consultation model, which is the new model I'm going to be talking about, is the key to getting you to full occupancy for your float center and to do it 10 times faster than if you use discounts or having to do a post-float sales pitch. And by a post-float sales pitch, I mean like you get after the float, you're all zenned out, and then you have to go up to that client and try and offer them a membership or try and get them to buy a package, right? So my goal is for you to not ever have to do that again and to not have to depend on discounts. And then if you like what you hear at the end, I'm gonna share with you an opportunity where we at Maximum Floats can actually help you implement everything, and you can just take the proven path and do the Maximum Floats consultation system. All right, so there's that. And then the very last thing to get you guys excited and motivated, we're actually gonna be giving away a float conference ticket for one random person who stays on until the end. I think they're on sale right now for $245, but it'll go up to $500. I go to the float conference every year. We're a sponsor again this year. This is one of my favorite events to attend, one of the only events in the float industry that we can attend. But for someone that stays on until the end, we'll go ahead and give you a ticket to the float conference. We'll choose one random person. I'll probably have Cawthon pick that person. Awesome. And then just real quick, little backstory. I know Cawthon mentioned a little bit about me, but we have been in this industry for about 3.5 years now. You can see this is my business partner, Alex. We sponsored the conference in 2018 and 2019. We're doing it again this year. We've been featured on flotation locations as well. And we've pretty much spent the past 3 years researching and optimizing advertising for float centers. So we didn't have an 80-hour-a-week job. We were stuck in a float center having to manage the float center. Instead, we were spending 80 hours a week trying to figure out how to help each of you get to full occupancy, fill those tanks, bring people in. We spent almost $500,000 in advertising. This should be updated. It's about 450 now. And we've tested these strategies in over 100 different markets. In fact, we did a campaign just last week for a German float center that they don't even speak English, and we ran our English campaign for their clients over in Berlin, and about half of the population speaks English, and they're already getting results still, which is pretty crazy. That this process I'm going to share with you doesn't just work in the US, it doesn't just work in Canada, it's worked in Australia, it's worked in the UK, and even markets outside of English speaking markets, which is pretty awesome. You can see here's pictures of a bunch of our clients that we're working with. Where did this all start? Why am I in the float industry? Why do I care about floating? Well, this all started when I was a very stressed out engineering college student, going to school full time and trying to grow an advertising business. So I used to have an advertising business where I would work with local businesses like restaurants, things like that, and just help them with their marketing. But it got to the point where I was so stressed out because I was doing full-time engineering and full-time work trying to build a business that I had so much accumulated anxiety and stress that I actually threw up one night. Like it was like 2 a.m. and I was just vomiting. This is probably really graphic and horrible to hear right now, but I had found floating about a month prior. And that next day I went for a float with Veronica Carpenter at Trios Chico. Pretty much after that, I started floating twice a week as a wellness routine. It was the one thing that I could look forward to every single week consistently to help maintain my wellness, because I wasn't taking care of my body. I was staying up super late. I was drinking. I was in college, I was drinking. Probably wasn't eating the best foods. I just wasn't really doing the right things for my body. So I had to have something that I could go back to and recover from. Pretty much, yeah, I felt awesome after doing that. And this period of my life where I was really sleep deprived and super stressed, floating was the thing that really, really helped me out. And I wanted to get this out to the world. However, the problem was I didn't have hundreds of thousands of dollars or any credit history or really any backing or operational skills to open a float center. I'm still amazed at the people that we're able to work with and how great they are at operations, because that's just not necessarily the best skill set that I have. But I knew I had a knack for being able to do marketing and advertising. And I knew that there were hundreds of float centers that had pods and tanks that were empty. And so I wanted to find a way to fill that gap. So when we first started doing this, we did what everyone else did. We focused on using first-time float offers to get people in the door. So very much like Groupon or probably any marketing agency that you've ever worked with in the past, they just try and get a discounted person in the door. And that's kind of been the game that's been preached since about 2008 for the whole float industry. And so what we were thinking is we said, okay, well, this is what everyone else is doing, so let's just focus on this. We're going to make it so good that it becomes great. But this was a fallacy of thinking, because usually when you just try and make something good better, it just, it stays good. It can never become a great solution because it's the wrong solution in the first place. No matter what we did, clients would stay for us for a few months and then leave because they weren't seeing the results that they needed to stay. And I realized that we needed something entirely different. So I started doing some research, and I found out about a guy named Alex Hermosi. He's this guy with a mustache. This is his wife, Layla. She wears a little mustache too as a joke. But they work with gyms, and he completely changed the gym industry. He was able to help gyms go from 0 to full capacity in under 30 days using an entirely new strategy that would use paid advertising to bring new clients in. And he busted this myth about a marketing budget, because the reason that most people have a marketing budget is because their advertising doesn't work or they can't track it. But he found a way to turn $1 in ads into like $3 to $10 in revenue for a gym in the first 30 days. And the way he did this is he flipped the model on its head. Instead of having clients come in for a gym session where they would do a little bit of exercise first, and then they would maybe sign up for a trial or sign up for a monthly membership, what he did is he had people come in for a consultation, and then he would sell a 42-day program, a 4-week program, or a 3-week program where they would pay up front before they even tried out the gym. And what this means is that he was able to spend $1, $2, $3, $4 and get $10, $15, $20 on the front end, which means that he did not have to have a marketing budget as a gym owner anymore. And when he discovered this for himself, he started teaching it to other gyms. So let me ask you this. If you had a machine in your float center that you could do that, that you could spend $1 and consistently bring back $3 in new revenue of new front-end clients, $4 in new revenue, $5, $10, wouldn't you want to do that as much as possible until you were full? You probably would, right? So the discount model is tough. We literally tried for 3 years to get the discount model to work. We wrote scripts. We hired the best advertising coaches. We hired people to follow up with interested leads, but it still didn't work. And we went all in on figuring out how to find a new strategy that actually works for the float industry. And then one day, our advertising took off. We had stopped everything that we did and left the country to go to different float centers and actually try these new practices for free. So we said, hey, don't pay us anything. We just need to go into your center. You need to give us the trust that we're going to go in there and that we're going to figure something out. And we need to be able to run your center. You have to give us the full reins. And so that's what we did. And this is what happened on our first successful new test. And this was in Australia. You can see this calendar is all booked consultations for these larger float programs. Okay, so instead of selling a discounted float, we would have like a 6-week offer or a 3-week offer where someone would float 2 times a week for 3 weeks or 1 time a week for 6 weeks. And you can see every green on here was a $400 sale. So this got packed up with bookings, and then Alex would go into Water Temple and just close all these different sales. And what was able to happen is in that first 2 weeks, they brought in $11,400 in new revenue on $470 spent, which is a 20x return. When we saw that, we knew we had discovered the new model that float centers would have to go to in the future. We just didn't know how to make that happen at scale. And that's why that screenshot you can see was 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, 18 months ago. So we've been working on this for a while. It's not some new idea I came up with this morning, right? And what was even better is, if you remember how I was saying when I was an engineering student and building the business, I had the most stress in my life and I was chronically sleep deprived. This new model that had people come in and do multiple floats as a float program, rather than just coming in and doing a discounted float, it helped people raise awareness to other areas in their life outside of floating, which helped them maximize their benefits the most. So for me, I was floating twice a week, but I wasn't getting enough sleep, and I was drinking alcohol, I was eating a lot of sugar, like doing a bunch of horrible things for my body. But by floating, it helped raise awareness to those things. And that's what a program helps to do as well for the clients, is they come in and they float, and it raises awareness about, oh, I probably need to be sleeping a little bit better. I probably shouldn't be drinking as much. Maybe I should be outside a little bit more, exercising a little bit more. And we started seeing way better transformations than anything from like a discounted first-time floater. You can see for yourself. This is Kathy. She says, floating is now part of my well-being maintenance plan. I decided to do this on an ongoing basis after doing 6 floats and evaluating the results. I like the relaxation benefits of switching off from all the stimuli and having my body feel weightless. This is Lily Fernandez. She says, I took the 21 stress-free challenge at Water Temple, and from day 1, the results were crazy. Each time I've had more and more benefits surface. This is Sandy. She says, I've just experienced my second float and I love it. I was so wound up. This is the best therapy. I came out so relaxed. I really just wanted to curl up and have a good sleep, something which had evaded me since returning home. So instead of occasionally getting testimonials, this program was getting testimonials from every single person that was coming in, because it was a systematic approach to exposing people to floating, rather than just saying, hey, you're going to float on a discount whenever you want. This was, you're going to come in, you're going to have a conversation with us, and then you're going to do a program. So this is the new consultation model, right? This dramatically increased the amount of revenue earned from advertising, which means that you can make money on the front end and never have to worry about a marketing budget again. So some, business gurus or financial gurus, they might be like, oh, spend 5% of your revenue on advertising, or spend 10% of your revenue on advertising. And if you're not getting a clear return from your advertising, then maybe that's a good rule. But if you know that every $10 you spend is going to turn into $20 or $30 or $40, you really shouldn't have any need for a marketing budget, because you can do that all day long. The consultation model turned the selling process, where you would do a post-float sale and try and get them on a membership or a package, into more of a buying process, because people would come in, do a consultation, and then make a decision about going forward. And then on top of that, clients respected the float center's time more, because they were perceived as more of a trusted authority, rather than just this person that brings them in, puts them in the float tank, and then tries to sell them. They were now this person that would come in, listen to where they're at in their life, and then offer the best solution for their needs. And finally, one of my favorites is it got better results for the clients that they served. And then on top of that, it makes the conversion into a weekly membership seem normal, rather than too expensive or too time intensive. So I'm curious also on here, we've got, we got about 17 people on here. How many weekly members do you all have? If you have 0, put 0. If you have 1, put 1. If you have 10, put 10. How many weekly members? I'm talking they're paying either $49 a week on recurring, or they're paying for 4 floats a month. How many weekly members? We got 0, 0, 2. It's way more fun if everyone participates. Brent says 15. Okay, 0. Bobby says 10. Okay, awesome. So anywhere from 0 to 15, right? 1. Garth says 1. Before cover, probably 1. Now 0. Okay. So what this does, since people are coming in and they're already floating twice a week, or they're already floating once a week, it frames floating once a week as the new normal, okay? So we've all been talking about the new normal. Let's make weekly floating the new normal, because not only is it better for the clients, but it's going to be way better for the business. Because if you sign 1 weekly member, it's the equivalent of 4 monthly memberships, right? But it's less work, and you have a better relationship with that client. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And just to show you a little evidence before we actually hop into the whole presentation, the meat of this here. This is Gina from Be Still Float Studio. This is her first couple of weeks in the program. She sold 2 programs with weekly payments, sold another 2 challenges. She was one of the first people. She was the first person that we taught how to do this on her own without having us go in there and sell the programs. She had no sales experience before. This is Micah. He actually had a manager come in and start selling the program. This is his first few days in the program. He had a 3-for-3 day, and his manager got his first sale on his first day. This is Sarah with her daughter, Becca. Sarah with her daughter, Becca. She posted this in our group at the beginning of this month. She said that her sales are up 25% from last year during one of the craziest times in history, right? This is like one of the most wild times in history. Here's Tony Bruno from Float Hub, not the owner. This is a manager. He messaged me on his first day. He said, I had 2 people today and signed 1. He signed him up for $500 on his first day. Here's Albert from Float YQR. They had a record day. This is one of the record days for our clients. They did $3,000 in program sales in a single day. How many of you would like a $3,000 bump today? So you want to make $3,000 extra dollars? Like, I think that's pretty cool. This was definitely a belief breaker, and we've had several clients crush $2,000, and we got to see. But the next goal is going to be to do a $5,000 day, which would be 10 programs. You can't do that selling discounted floats. You'd have to sell 100 discounted floats to your previous clients. But to make $5,000 selling a program at $500, which I'm going to share how you do that, you only have to sell it to 10 people. You don't have to go through this work and get an army of people to make the same amount of money. So they've been able to do it. And for the 17 people that are watching this live, I'm going to share with you on this presentation how you can do it too. So here is the 3 puzzle piece path to full. All right. Puzzle piece number 1, value-based offers. I'm going to share how you can have an offer that gets clients who gladly spend $500, $600, or even $700. This one is shocking. Even $700 that would have never even spent $10 to go float. Puzzle piece number 2, upside down sales. How to stop doing post-float sales while increasing your average conversion from under 15% to over 60% of walk-ins, even if you struggled in the past and hate the word sales. And puzzle piece number 3 is the AI show system. This is how to get the number of people showing up to your appointments that you need to get to full occupancy and finally be able to decide how many clients you want to take on each month. How many of you would love to decide how many clients you can take on each month? Just put a yes in the chat. All right. So maximum floats, unfortunately, we cannot decide how many clients we want each month because the float industry is super tiny, right? There's about 1,000 worldwide, a couple thousand worldwide. But for you guys, since you're in areas with 5,000 people, 50,000 people, 500,000 people, with this process, you will be able to decide how many clients you want to have. Let's just check the chat. Once a week, I'm in. I would like yesterday, but sure, definitely. Yes. I would expand my services if I could do that. Okay, awesome. So, Cawthon, would it be cool if you could decide how many float centers you can sell flow pods to this month?
Absolutely. Any of the week. Sign me up.
Awesome, man.
I was going to say as well, you brought up something earlier about, doing discounts, floats, and that. I just want to point out, and this is what I kind of pointed out, this is all added to kind of some of the training that I do when I go out to these places, is one thing I always point out to my clients, and you tell me, as far as giving out the Groupon and doing the Groupon service, we found clients just have horrible experiences with that just because it front loads everything, right? And so I don't know if you've heard anything back in regards to that, but that's definitely something I do mention to our clients. That they can run the issues with Groupon.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, what we recommend to our clients is once they start implementing this model, they can decide if they want to continue using those other modalities. Because we have some clients who say, you know what, I actually like having some floats be able to be for some people where it's like a really accessible price point and people can just come in. And, that's fine. But I just don't think that 80% of your business should come from one and done floaters. 80% of your business should come from repeat clients. And this is going to show you how to do that. So puzzle piece number 1 is value-based offers. How you can get clients who gladly spend $497, $597, or even $697 that would have never even spent $10 to go float. How many of you have a friend or know somebody who you could not even pay them to do a float session? Like, how many of you have a friend that you could not even pay them to come in and do a single float session? Drop it in the chat. Show me some love here. I do. Ambrosia says I do. I know I have 1 or 2 people that are like, I don't know why you do what you do. I would never, ever do that for sure. Okay, awesome. Great. So to create a great offer, you have to start with the problem, not the product. So instead of thinking, how can we market flotation therapy, which is the product, we want to think about the problem. All right, so here's an example problem. I am hungry and I am lonely and I'm trying to lose weight. So the solution that I'm going to go find is I'm going to go eat a salad with my friends together, right? Because then I can eat some food, I'm going to be sharing it with some friends. It's going to be awesome. So whatever can help me at the highest level is worth the most, and I will be the most satisfied with that solution. So we're going to look at a couple examples here. I have 3 possible solutions. I can get an iceberg lettuce at the store. I could go to the store and get a garden salad, which is pretty much the iceberg lettuce, but just chopped off with maybe a little bit of carrots, but it's probably even less than the iceberg lettuce in terms of the amount of volume that I'm going to get. And the other option is I could go to a restaurant with my friends and I would get even less salad for an even higher price, right? And the crazy thing is even though this is pretty much the exact same thing, the price points are drastically different to the point of 10 times, right? You can see the iceberg lettuce is 70 cents at the store. The garden salad is $2.50, and then the restaurant is $7. And I've paid up to, I think, $21 for a salad if you throw some chicken in there, right? It's kind of crazy, but it's objectively the same thing. And this is kind of how the discount float is versus the program. Is you can have these discount floats where you're just selling the raw lettuce, or you can focus on providing the real solution to somebody's problem. Whereas if I'm hungry and lonely and I want to hang out with my friends, then the restaurant's probably going to be the best solution for me to do that. And that's why they can charge so much more, even though there's not that much additional costs, right? There's not that much additional costs compared to this. So I had this breakthrough by listening to Jay Abraham, where he said this. He said that most breakthroughs don't come from within an industry. They come from outside of it. And this is when I started studying Alex Hormozi. And in this next example, I want to talk about how a gym works. So let's look at the gym industry here, right? The best gyms have an incredible offer that helps someone achieve the result they desire. So for everyone who's watching, you can see Cawthon's biceps just blowing up out of those t-shirts right there. You know, it's just embarrassing me on this call.
Damn, man. Out here making me blush, man.
So the key point about gyms that have incredible offers is they don't just offer workouts, all right? So there's a lot of problems that people run into when they're trying to lose weight, and the solution isn't really just gym equipment. That's not really the solution. People don't know what exercises they should be doing. They don't know what food they should eat. They have a hard time buying food at the grocery store. They don't have time to cook food. They lose motivation and give up. They want to be a part of a community. They want to believe that they can achieve their goal, right? Especially for people who have hit a certain point where they're like, I'm 300 pounds, I'm 350 pounds. I don't even believe that doing these type of things is going to help me. They're not going to be successful if they go to a gym. They're going to be successful if they go through a program and they have accountability and support. So let me ask you this. Which offer is sexier? We got offer A over here. You can work out at our gym anytime you want, 24/7 access, right? For someone like Cawthon, he's probably going to take this because he knows everything about fitness. But for somebody who's trying to lose weight who doesn't, let's look at this offer. We're going to train you 3 times per week. We're going to tell you what foods you need to eat. We're going to give you a cookbook and a grocery store checklist. We're going to hold you accountable. And you're going to be a part of a community who all has the same goal as you. All right? The crazy thing here is you get access to the gym less. You can only come into the gym 3 times instead of 24/7, right? All these other things, we're going to tell you what foods to eat. We're going to give you a cookbook. We're going to hold you accountable. And we're going to put you in a community. These cost almost nothing. An online community you can host for free. You can send a text, costs a little bit of time, and cookbooks and telling you what food, that costs literally nothing. It can be ebooks, it can be information, right? But if you look at the difference in the price points that you can charge, that people will happily pay for, it's almost a 10x difference. And this is what I like to call problem-focused offers or results-based marketing. So instead of focusing on just, oh, we've got this float therapy pod, we've got this pod, and how do I sell this pod? You want to think about your client, and you want to say, well, what would Susie, one of our best clients, like what would be a dream thing for her? What would Sharon, this person on the street who's super stressed out, what would she need for her to experience the transformation with floating? Is it floating, or does she need a little bit of extra help? Does she need to be even reminded that she needs to take time for herself for self-care? Or it could be a guy, right? Guys struggle with self-care all the time. And it's kind of crazy, but when you start listing out all the different things that people have problems with, you realize that people want a community too. They want to be held accountable to reduce stress or to improve their sleep or to reduce their pain. They want to be given what foods they should be eating, or what types of drinks they should be cutting out, like alcohol or sugar and things like that. So let me show you an example of how we could do this for float therapy. So we've got the gym offer on the left-hand side. This is the float therapy offer. So we'll say, hey, you know what, Cawthon, you're going to float once per week, and you're going to give a journal to write about your experiences. So you're going to actually document how you feel before and after each float. On top of that, we're going to check in with you during the program to see how things are going. right? This is stuff you guys already do. You already sit down with your clients, but you don't outline that value when they buy a discounted float. But in a program, you can actually communicate that value, and you can say, hey, after your float, we're going to have a little chat. And if you have problems in the float tank, if you're having a hard time with your breathing, if you're getting restless, if you don't know where to put your hands, if you want new ideas, we're going to be able to talk about that and share our experiences. Because you guys are experts in this field. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone on this call has done at least 50 floats, hopefully over 100. I mean, I love floating. I think all of us love floating here. You're going to discover a new strategy to release stress each week. And we're going to give you the lifestyle plan for optimal stress management, right? So if you gave them all of these things, don't you think you could charge more for your services? And don't you think you would get higher transformations for the people that were coming in? So, okay, Kyle, sounds cool in theory, you know, but are clients actually going to love this? Here's a few examples. This is Kathy Rodwell. She says, I enjoyed my third float last Saturday and had an uninterrupted sleep that night for the first time in many months, finding myself looking forward to each float. Just completed 6 floats, and I'm happy to be continuing this integral part of my wellness journey. This is Gabby. She completed all of her floats, and she says, this is an amazing experience and a great gift to myself. This is Jane. She says, I enjoyed my midpoint float this afternoon. And over here, she says, I'm looking forward to being my own experimental control and really evaluating the true effects of floating for me as I go without it for the next few weeks. I discovered that my favorite thing to experience is floating while doing the chakra opening and alignment guided meditation, right? So she learned all these different things during the 6-week program because she was able to have those conversations. And Jane is someone who very well could have bought in a Groupon and came in for a float and never came back. But because she came in for a consultation, she viewed float therapy with a different lens, and she was able to use it as a tool for her wellness. Here's Julie. She says, what a great experience. Thank you for offering me such an opportunity. It was great to be involved. Floating is definitely something that I want to keep incorporating into my life and keen to keep going. So the theme here is that when people are doing these programs, they're looking at floating as an integral part of their wellness, not as just something they go do when they're, you know, super stressed one day, or something they go do as a bucket list activity like skydiving. It's actually a thing like yoga or a weekly massage or a daily walk that they consider as a part of their wellness and self-care routine. There's a couple more. So to come up with an offer that is really good, if you guys want to do this on your own, just write down all of the problems that people have and then find free or low cost solutions that you can put together and offer that as a whole package. So don't just think like, how can I get them in for a float and get them out, but what are all the problems that they would experience? And then how can I point them in the right resources that they would have more of a transformation through this? So how many of you, just put in the chat and say yes or no, how many of you see that you are doing a better service when you charge more? All right, because this might be a belief system that is difficult for some people because we're used to saying that it's better to charge less, but if you charge more, you can actually provide more value. So I've done 26 floats in a row, 3 floats a day for a month. Holy smokes, that's insane, Brent. I've never done a 26 float challenge. I want to do it next month though. So the point that I'm driving home here is that the price doesn't matter, only the perceived value of what you are offering based on the result that people want. All right, so here's Tony Bruno. And at the beginning I said, how to sell a $500 program to someone even if they wouldn't even float for $10. And I just want to share his experience with this first client that he sold on his first day.
Then the second one, that was incredible. She said on the phone, how much is it? I said, look, I can't tell you how much, not because I don't want to tell you, but because we have so many options and I have to go through all the costs, I have to explain you all the things. And she said, is it more than £10? And I said, this is a desperate one. And I said, look, don't worry about the money. We found a solution. Money is not a problem here. Come here and I will explain everything. And she was, oh, but if it's more than £10, I'm not wasting my time. I said, God, you waste your time, don't worry. So she came honest because I thought it was just, I said to myself, I'm just going to do some training, some practice, because I already know
So I kind of just went crazy on the laugh there, but yeah. So Tony, he's actually from Italy, and they're over in the UK, and he had a client call and say, "I'm not going to buy anything for if it costs more than $10." And the reason she said that is because she didn't understand what was being provided. She didn't understand the value that it could impact on her life. So if I asked you, Cawthon, would you pay me $1,000? You'd probably say like, for what, right?
Right.
It's like, would you pay me $1,000 for a blank? Really, it's hard to understand anything if we just look at price. But if I told you, Cawthon, would you pay me $1,000 and I could give you a $5,000 check? Would you do that? Like if you knew I was going to do that, would you do that?
100%.
Right? So that's the thing about the consultation approach, is that people, when they're looking at floating and they're looking at it online, they are shopping price. But if you get them to come in for a consultation, then you have the benefit where you can sell based on value, which means that it doesn't matter what your float centers, what other people in the area are charging. It doesn't matter if you're selling your floats for $50 and the person down the street is selling their floats for $20. Because when they come in for you and they're coming in for that first consultation with you, they're getting a solution to their problem. They're not buying a float. They're not buying based on price. They're buying based on the value of the transformation.
And you're adding value to the overall float experience.
Yep.
It comes down to.
So yeah, price is all based on context. By creating an offer that is focused around a result, you'll get compensated extra for it. Here's another example from Tony and Carly. They're in Australia.
Participants have never been to our centre before, no, and most of them are joining to start that ongoing membership. So to have like your first time client come in on a top level membership is like, whoa. I wouldn't have believed it. Alex and Carl, if you told me, I would have gone, you know, boys, you're just blowing this out of proportion. I wouldn't have believed it, because before this program, how many weekly members did we have on our list? Oh, probably like 2. Yeah.
All right, and how many did you have right before you closed down COVID?
Now we have about 15.
Okay, and so let me ask you this last question, then we'll go on to the other ones. How does it feel having a system that actually works in your float center?
Well, it actually feels like we're finally doing what we've always wanted to do, but we didn't bloody know how to do it until now. And the program has helped us get that happening. Yeah. So I'm like so confident that we can just take this into whole new spheres and actually build the business that we wanted to build from day one. And it's
So that was Tony and Carly from Gravity Float Center in Australia. Unfortunately, Melbourne is shut down, but they were able to go for just 2.5 weeks. And they went from 2 weekly memberships to 15 weekly memberships in about 2.5 weeks, which, just to put things in perspective, I mean, the top weekly memberships in this chat was 15. They were able to add that in 2.5 weeks. And if you think about 13 weekly members, it's almost like you're signing up 52 monthly members. Like, that's how much of a difference it is financially, and it's less work and you have better relationships with the clients. So now that I've shown you how you can have an offer that gets clients who gladly spend $4.97, $5.97, that would have never even gone in to spend $10 to go float, the second piece of the puzzle is upside down sales. How to stop doing post-float sales while increasing your average conversions from under 15% to over 60% of walk-ins, even if you struggled in the past and hate the word sales. How many of you in here, either yourself or your team, hate sales? Like, how many of you have a hard time getting your team to sell anything in your float center? Or how many of you just don't like sales in general? Like, it's not something that makes you feel comfortable or happy. Ambrosia says, I hate it, despise it. Yeah, how many of you have a hard time getting your team motivated to sell floats for you when you're gone? Just drop it in the chat. We'll keep going here, but pretty much right now, the industry average on conversions into memberships is 15% or less. And our client average across 19 accounts right now is 60% of people who are walking in the door. And it's not because anyone is an amazing salesperson at all. It's because we flipped the sales process. So I'm going to share with you how that works here. So sales used to be so freaking hard. If you've ever felt that sales was hard, sales felt slimy, sales was pushy, your team couldn't sell well, then you're going to love this piece of the puzzle. Because for most float centers, like we talked about earlier, they're looking at a special discount, having someone come in for a float pod, and then there's this post-float sales membership pitch, right? And not only is this uncomfortable for you, but it's uncomfortable for the client. I actually had this experience in Texas where I was even excited about going to this float center, and I floated, and then afterwards I got pitched a package, and it just, I don't know, it just didn't feel good. I kind of wanted to just make the purchase, and to have somebody kind of pushing something onto me when I'm in that Zen state, it was funny because I really love sales and I love marketing, but just when you're in that post-float state, it's kind of the last thing that you want. Like, you want to have a genuine conversation and not be thinking about, I need to exchange value with this other person, right? And I almost didn't buy, even though I already knew I wanted to. And a few weeks later, after I had that experience, I had done a free business consultation with a coach I was considering hiring. And he asked me questions about where I was in business and where I wanted to go. And then he offered a solution to help me. So it was literally just like, hey, so where are you at right now? Where do you want to go? And then at the end, he was like, well, I think we have something that could help you out. And that felt so good. It didn't feel pushy at all. I was literally glowing with excitement. And to this day, I continue to refer business over to this coach, not only because it was a great program, but because the sales process felt so good. I could genuinely go on there, get my questions answered, and then get offered the solution that I needed. And this morning, I was actually hiring an agency myself this morning, and surprisingly, they used the same process, and it just reminded me of how good it feels to buy something when you have a great sales choreography setup. Because it literally just feels like you're having a conversation with someone that genuinely cares about you, like your own mom, okay? There's this social media influencer on Instagram. I don't know if you know him, Cawthon. He's called Charlie Jabali. Anyways, this guy lost over a couple 100 pounds. He used to work for 2 Chainz. He was a big guy in the music industry. And he has this concept called momology, where you actually want people to think of you and your brand as someone or something that cares about you as much as your mom would, right? And your mom wouldn't let you just go do something without having a conversation about it. She'd probably want to have a conversation with you and see if this is something that's actually going to benefit your life. And that's exactly what a consultation does. So go ahead. Yeah. So wouldn't you take a recommendation from someone where you felt like they cared for you just as much as your mom did? I definitely would, of course. So how can you actually make this happen? Again, cool in theory, Kyle, but how does this actually work? So the key to sales is not the words you say, the messaging you have. It has nothing to do with how attractive you are, although it probably helps Cawthon. The price of your product, neuro-linguistic programming mind tricks. All right, the key here is choreography. So the definition of sales choreography is the step-by-step process where you take a potential client through from the moment they become a lead to the moment they become a customer. And I'm going to break that down in a graph so that you guys can understand the little pictures here. But the problem is never you in sales. The problem was the choreography that you had set up. To be honest, I've even tried to sell people post-float and had a horrible time. And I consider myself decent at talking to people. It's just the choreography wasn't designed in a way to make it easy. So what does that ideal sales choreography look like? This is how it looks. You have advertising for a float program that is focused on a problem, not the product. So it's focusing on stress, sleep, or pain, or anxiety, one specific pain point that somebody has, because that's all they care about. They don't care about float therapy until we bring them in and we share with them how it's actually going to help them. So we focus on the problem, not the product. We bring them in for a free consultation, no obligation free consultation. And then they sign up for a program. They go through a 6-week program. And this program, like I said earlier, is $497, $597, or $697. And the beautiful thing here is they'll be paying like $500 for a 6-week program where they float once a week for 6 weeks. And then at the end, there's not even a sale into a membership. It's literally just like, hey, how has everything been over the past 6 weeks? Oh, it's been awesome. I feel great. Awesome. Do you want to keep doing that, but for half price? Because they're used to paying $80 or $90 or $100 for every float in their head, right? Because we offer them that whole program. But now they get to keep going. They get to keep the community. They get to keep the one-on-one conversations that you're having after the float sessions at $49 a week. And it makes a weekly membership conversion the new normal. All right. I'm literally going to start putting on marketing that weekly memberships are the new normal, because it's better for the clients and it's better for the business by 4 times, right? The average lifetime value, I wish I had put a picture on here, but Float Tank Solutions put out an industry report where the average lifetime value of a client is $249, $250, somewhere right in there. Which means that your average client that's coming in for a monthly might sign up, spend $50 and stay for about 5 months. But on a program, you can sell a $500 program, which means that the first sale you make with them, you're making more than what you would with someone that stays for 5 months. And then in the future, you're bringing them on as a weekly membership, which is $200 a month in revenue. The ideal sales choreography is the process that you take a potential client through to truly understand their current situation and their goals in a non-pressured way, and then present a solution that would best fit for the client at this time in their life. And that's why we do this. The benefits of this choreography is that it positions float therapy as a solution rather than a luxury, a one-off thing, a commodity, or a service. All right? It gets more long-term clients who experience real transformations, and it differentiates yourself from other wellness businesses like yoga and massage. Okay, I hear all the time from float centers that say, this float center is competing with me, this float center is competing with me, this float center is competing with me. But the truth is that every single person has little budgets in their head for things that are important for them. So we all have like a rent budget, a food budget, maybe a self-care budget, a fun budget. Whether we actually have these outlined, we have them in our minds. And the truth is that your competition is other wellness businesses that people are spending their money with. They're thinking, I can't spend $200 a month to float. I already spend $200 a month on massage or $300 a month on yoga.
Float therapy or not. Exactly.
Exactly, right? And finally, this builds a deeper relationship with your clients, making them never want to leave, because it's really, really difficult to manage 800 monthly members, right? That's hard. But to manage 200 weekly members, 200 people is a lot more reasonable, and you can actually have one-on-one relationships with people. And it puts your business in a position where they have a relationship, they don't have a service. It's extraordinarily easy to cut a service. Like if I'm on a software and I don't have to talk to anybody and I can just delete my software subscription, that's super easy to do. But if you're in a relationship with anyone, whether that's just, it's a working relationship, it's a real relationship, or you just have seen each other for a lot of times, that's difficult to let that go. And so this creates an increase in retention. Here's an example here of Demetrius Mirabel. He's got a one-person float center in Lubbock, Texas. And I'm actually gonna pull this up here on YouTube because I uploaded a different video. But I just want to show what his experience was when he implemented this new sales choreography for his float center and what it did just in the first 30 days. So bear with me as we pull this up here.
Hey, quick question while you do that.
Yep.
As far as the, when it comes down to retaining your clients, would you say that, like retaining your members over time, would you say that, because I've heard tons of strategies from, franchisees or from other type of operations, gyms and that, would you say that adds more, I guess, valid? Would you say that the customer, you retain the customer a lot longer when you do a program like that? It just seems like that would be the case just because of how your program's set up.
Yeah, so we're still looking to get more data on like specifics in terms of exactly how much more retention this is causing for our clients. But if you just think about it, right? If you have a design system where you're building in one-on-one relationships into the first time that a client is coming into the business, they're going to be more likely to want to stay. If they have a better experience, if they're sharing the program experience with other people in a community, they're going to stick longer.
Understood.
So
That makes
let me
sense.
pull this up here. And awesome.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you. Everyone watching, I've heard tons of strategies, like I was saying a second ago, and so far so good for me right now. I definitely dig this, and I think everyone should stay tuned to Kyle and his team at Maximum.
Awesome, man. So yeah, here's Demetrius. This is just his first 30 days. He's a one-person float center out of Lubbock, Texas. And this is what he had to say about the choreography.
Hello, everybody. My name is Demetrius, and I've been running Escape Your Body Float Center for about 9 years now. We are a two-tank center, and we operate here out of Lubbock, Texas, of all places. You know, over the 9 years, we've gone up and down. It's been a little bit of a struggle. Of course, we've tried different types of marketing techniques and approaches and strategies and everything like that. I mean, I've pretty much done it all, right? You know, some years have been better than others, some months are better than others, but, you know, consistency and everything has always been one of the things we've been kind of lacking about. You know, and also, for some reason, I would sell a membership program here and there, but, you know, it was never as much as I thought the potential that was there. I mean, but this year was pretty much make it or break it, right? I mean, I told Kyle and Alex when I first found them and signed up with their first system that they had earlier this year. And I pretty much had told them that, listen, if this doesn't work, you guys are going to get paid because I'm pretty much going to, I might have to fold up and just throw in the towel because I don't know what else I can do because I've tried everything else. But I just signed up my 20th person for the stress release program that they have set up, and 20 people in 30 days. I just checked the numbers. So in 30 days, I signed up 20 people for the program, which is going to be a total of about $10,000, and I got a little less than half of that up front. So we actually had to turn down the ads a little bit because, again, I run everything myself here, right? I had to let my part-time person go when everything got shut down. So we were, I was I was getting a little bit, overwhelmed. I am still a little bit overwhelmed. I haven't had a chance to do very much else, but it's a good thing, right? So I've been busy. We've been signing people up, or I've been signing people up left and right. I just signed up my 20th person, and it feels great. It feels awesome. I mean, I feel very fortunate that the midst of all this craziness that's going on right now, I can provide a service that I know is benefiting people on multiple levels. And I'm actually, for the first time in a long time, feeling much more financially secure. And I actually am going to be able to kind of look forward to thinking about the future and, what's the possibility for the next step, which is awesome. And again, Alex.
So that's Demetrius there. He's got a one-person float center. So he has 2 tanks, and he did this all on his own. He was getting people in for floats, and when they weren't floating, he was running consultations. And he actually got full in his first 30 days. I mean, he only has 2 tanks, but that had never happened for him before in 9 years of running his business. He had to turn off the ads because he didn't have the physical time to keep servicing more people. He's now hired another person to help out, and we just turned on his ads again yesterday. But that was Demetrius with no experience running the sales choreography beforehand.
Wow! Congratulations, Demetrius.
Yeah, he's awesome. I wish he was on this call, but he's just busy doing consults. So now that I've shown you how to stop doing post-float sales while increasing your average conversion from under 15% to over 60% of walk-ins, even if you struggled in the past and hate the word sales, this is puzzle piece number 3. And this is the AI show system that we use. And this is how to get the number of people showing up to your appointments that you actually need to get to full occupancy and finally decide how many clients you want to take on each month. All right. So when we first started, we were getting tons of people who were interested in flotation therapy, but there were very few bookings, right? It was like 1 or 2 on the calendar, and it was pretty horrible. And then I read in a sales book one day that the number of bookings you get is directly proportional to the number of outreach attempts that you make. So we implemented follow-up and then this happened right here on this calendar, right? This is one of the locations that we did the launch for them. We actually were hitting the phones, doing the consultations, selling these programs. And you can see these are all consultations. We used to do phone consultations, and these were all phone consultations just within a few days. And by implementing this follow-up system with the leads, you will get way more bookings without having to spend more money on ads, right? However, the problem with this is that it normally takes a ton of work to chase leads for weeks to get them to come in for their free consultation. And so what we did is we actually partnered with an artificial intelligence lead nurturing company that literally all they do, the only thing that they do is they help get people in for free consultations and for free appointments. That's the only thing that they do. So they specialize in having artificial intelligence that isn't like this genius thing from Google. It is literally a lead nurturing software that allows any lead to get followed up with for 8 weeks to bring them in for a consultation. And this is something that you could do on your own, but the more that you focus on revenue generating activities like selling and fulfilling the people that are in the program, which those are the things that put dollars into your business. It doesn't put dollars into your business to be texting leads at like 9 o'clock at night. How many of you in here, I'd love to just see, how many of you have texted leads before, have done follow-up with leads, have done like cold calls, have dealt with an Excel spreadsheet to call leads? Just drop it in the chat like I have or I haven't. Cawthon, I'm sure you've worked lead lists before.
Oh, I have contacting leads every waking moment of the day.
So do you like contacting leads?
I do actually. Yeah, I do. Having the conversation and building the relationships that I personally do, but some people don't like doing that. So
I think it's a little different on the B2B side, because when you're running a float center and you're getting people in for float sessions and you have to think about calling a random person that just filled out their information, we noticed with our clients, no matter what we did, it was like the absolute thing that they hated. No, I never have. Ambrosia's done Google Sheets. My clients get these floats written off using their benefits. Okay, so awesome. Cool.
yeah,
And
imagine that'd be tough doing that.
yeah, so this is Alan in action. I want to show you guys an actual video here. So check it out.
Here you can actually see the messages that are coming out of Alan. You can see that this one person, Tina, scheduled an appointment, and Alan went ahead and followed up. Said, "Hey, Tina, you're all set for a 6-week trust days program. I can't wait to meet you on the 18th at 10 o'clock. By the way, this is Missy from Float 60. Is it free? Can you send me the address?" 32020 sends the address. We offer a variety of options. Once you've come in for your initial consultation, I'll be able to give you a much better estimate on your specific wellness needs. Okay, thanks, because my husband and I don't have much money. Looking forward to getting you the care you requested. Thank you so much. Tina, it's Missy. We're all super pumped that you booked a meeting with us on the 18th. What are you coming in for? Pain relief, releasing stress, or handling a recent life situation? All three. I have panic issues. Looking forward to help you out. Thank you so much. 18, it's Missy. The 6-week stress release program, this cutie below is Pumpkin, our stress-free living mascot. For every person who shows up to there in orientation, we give Pumpkin a treat. So just do this for yourself. Do it to keep Pumpkin chubby. Keep Pumpkin chubby. Hashtag. See you on the 18th at 10 o'clock. Oh, and whatever you're comfortable in.
Yeah, so there's a few things in there to help it seem more human, like sending a funny picture of a goldfish and all that. And this stuff really works to get people in the door. So on average, before we implemented a lead nurturing system like this, we would get about 8 to 12% of leads to walk in the door. So if we had 100 people who gave us phone numbers and information from advertising, you get 10 to 12% of those. But with this, our average client is seeing anywhere from 22 all the way up to 26% of those leads walking into their business, which is pretty awesome. This AI nurturing system works even if you're in a tiny town, medium area, or big city. It works even if you have a one-person team, or if you have like a giant team, right? Because if you have a one-person team, you're not going to be following up with leads. And if you have a team, probably your employee, this is like the last thing they want to do. They don't want to be making cold calls all day long. That's not why they signed up for a float center. And this works even if you're outside of the US. So if you're in Canada, the UK, or Australia, this system will work for you. And let me just show you some of the results that Alan has been able to bring, where we follow up the leads for you. So pretty much this is Gloria Morris. This is her first day. She spent $89, and you can see she booked 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 or 18 appointments on her first day of turning on this system with $89 spent. She posted this the first day. She said, "My name is Gloria and I'm an addict. I checked Alan 22 times since 6 a.m. and it's only the first day. Call for help. I have a full-time job too." So she's actually like checking it because it's so exciting seeing all these bookings come through. And this is an update actually from just the past 2 weeks, the past 14 days. They've spent $1,000 in advertising. I think $1,100 the last time I checked. And they've already sold $5,900 in float programs with $3,500 of that in cash up front. So, you know, how many of you would like to, in 14 days, turn $1,000 into $3,500 in cash up front, just in float programs?
Money, money, money.
Here's Dimitar. This is a tiny, tiny town, and we will probably not work with float centers in towns smaller than this. But you know, he doesn't get a lot of consultations. He really doesn't. Look at his calendar. He gets, you know, a few consultations a week, but he's able to close most of them because it's a small town and it's very personal. And he was able to do $3,500 even in a super small town using paid advertising in his first 30 days of running the system. This is Corey Gordon. She's in Canada. This is the past 9 days. She's actually brought in $10,000 in sales. And this one's pretty insane, actually. She spent $300 on advertising, which means that she put in basically $1. And for every dollar she put in, she was able to get $30 back. And she got $7,300 in cash. All right. So she was actually able to pay for everything that we charge to set up and all of our fees in literally the first week of getting started, which is pretty amazing. Here's 2 4-tank centers in Canada. This was their first week of running the system. One of them did $10,000. The other one did $11,000 week 1. And they actually said that this has been their busiest July of all time. They only spent $887 in advertising, and they brought in $21,000 in revenue. This is Christian from Float Now, and this is what he had to say about his experience running this new system. Let's see if this will work here.
Yeah. Have you guys ever ran a campaign that brought in 20K across 2 locations?
Yeah, we have, but it wasn't sustainable. We've done giveaways that made money like that, like straight up like big contests. You can do those like once a year, right? Yeah. So like, I've never done a campaign that's fucking made 20 G's as it's just starting to kick up and we don't know what we're doing yet, right? Like this doesn't. Like this isn't we made 20 G's once, right? If this goes like it did the first couple of weeks, or even half as good as it did the first couple of weeks, I feel confident that we can nail it even harder and get better results like going into the future. Like it's only going up from here, right? So yeah.
So, how does it feel having a system rather than like a one-off thing that finally works?
I don't have to worry about shit, dude. I just go into work. I sell people on floats. People change their lives. And you do it all day. And then you go home at night and you wake up and do it again. And you're happy because every single conversation that somebody comes in, or at least for me, was like, you know, 80% of the people that I talked to signed up for something that's going to transform their life. And already those people are like the best evangelists for our business. You know, we've had some of our stress relief program customers get out after their floats and sell other people on memberships. We didn't tell them to do this, right? Like after their first or second float, and they're telling them about the program because they're so enthusiastic. So like, wow, this just looks like the dream of what we've always been trying to do, but we didn't quite know how to put it together. And how it feels is like all the pieces are dropping in place. And now I can do things like, you know, not work till 2 a.m. because we have to be open super late hours. right? We were able to shut down our last floats. We're able to put the morning floats earlier because we've got people who have appointments to do. Just everything about it, we're able to take 2 days off a week now. You know, it's more sustainable. Like, I can think of myself and take care of myself now, which has been a hard thing to do for the last couple of years because I work in 2 float centers in 2 different cities. You know, we all do, right? Everybody on my team runs 2 float centers. So, I don't know, man. It's changed my life.
So how many of you, I know that this industry, I look at the Float Collective and I see everyone's hours. Let's see who's working the most hours right now on average. You can put your week or per day. How many hours per day are you working, or how many hours per week? You can just drop that in the chat. Because Christian was working probably 14 hours a day, 6.5 days a week for the past, like, probably 5 years. Bobby says 14 a day, 60 a week. Yeah, so just drop it in the chat. I'd love to get a sense of where everyone's at. 7 days a week since 2011. Yeah. Open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Yeah. I mean, you guys are some of the hardest working people that I know, and small business owners in general, because it's, I mean, there's so many things that need to get done. Yeah, 12 to 14 hours, 10 to 10, open 7 days. Yeah. So what Christian was able to do is actually condense the amount of days that he was offering sessions, but make more money. So he's able to condense the time that he was offering float sessions, but make more money. And that's what he's saying, is that he's still working really hard. He's still really working hard, but now he can actually take a day or 2 off each week for himself. And for some people that are thinking, this is something that I get it, Kyle, I'm going to create an offer, I'm going to write a script, I'm going to do the whole sales process, I'm going to figure out the advertising, and I'm going to, you know, follow up the leads. I asked him, I was like, what would you say to someone who's thinking that they want to do this on their own? And this is what he had to say.
Right. What would you say to someone who is in that position right now? They're running a float center. They literally feel like, you know, every day they're just working. They're staying up until 2 in the morning. They're working 6.5, 7 days a week. They don't really see a path out of here. Like, what would you say to someone about why they should sign up to work with us?
Yeah, for sure. God, that's a good question. I want to give a good answer. So I'm taking a pause. I mean, at a certain point, you can look at, you know, believing or not believing what's going to work. But if you're working 7 days a week, you're there till 2 in the morning, right? You're drained. You're trying to learn how to market. You're trying to figure out how to make all this stuff work together. Right? If you're in that position, what you're doing isn't working. And doing it more isn't going to make it work better. You're just going to get tireder and tireder and tireder. And you're either going to give up or do something different. Now, if you're going to try to do something different by yourself, chances are you're probably going to do what we did, which is double your workload, because you still have to pay the bills with your float center. And it makes it less likely that you're going to do either of those things properly. So if you want to continue running your float center and start seeing success immediately, I know it's scary, the idea of turning over some control, or not control, but the idea of doing something so drastically different. You know, I was afraid of getting rid of some of our packages and discounts, because it's like, so many people buy these, right? Yeah. Even in the questionnaire, you were like, or not in the questionnaire, but, you know, we'd even talked like, well, if you're making this amount of monthly packages, it's okay to keep them like that. But we kind of just trusted our gut. I was like, you know what? In for a penny, in for a pound, let's take the jump. And if you're ready to start seeing profound results in people, and the fruits of your labor being the conversations that you're actually having with people and finding out what's going on in their lives and really helping them, and then getting fairly compensated for it, and seeing the people actually be grateful that they've made such a big investment in themselves, right? Yeah. Then just go for it. You have nothing to lose. You're already losing. So that's what I'd say.
Hey, real quick, Kyle.
Yeah.
Off that video we just watched there, it's interesting because it's like seeing him and watching that testimonial there. It's like that old expression of the fish always rots from, or the fish rots from the head. And when I hear him, explain his experience, when you see someone that works that hard, that puts that amount of time and that amount of dedication, and it really does affect other team members and other people that work around you as well. And so it's cool to see that, and I'm not surprised how successful he is, just because of how you can tell he's put in that amount of hours, he's put in that amount of work. And going off the back of what you asked him there, and kind of going into what he was talking about is utilizing people around you to take the weight off your shoulders that could help you and streamline things a lot easier for you. That's what I took from what you explained there. And I could just tell he was very passionate. So kudos to you on that one, for real.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I wanted to put this in there. I screenshotted this right before we got on, but this is actually their July update. Their first location did 26 grand. This is not in total revenue. This is additional revenue only from paid advertising, guys. Location 2, 28,000. I haven't checked, but I think they're spending about $100 Canadian a day. So they put about $3,000 into ads on both of these. And they were able to do over, $53,000 across 2 locations from this strategy, right? And it's something that he brought up, which I think is super valuable, is this isn't like a giveaway or a discount thing that you promote to your list once. This is something that you can continue to run. That first $10,000 week they did was before July, right? This is consistently bringing in leads, bringing in scheduled appointments, bringing in people to actually show up, and then closing them consistently. You can see this location, they're closing at 67% of walk-ins. This location, they're closing at 66%. You might say, Kyle, this is an amazing result, and it really is. This is probably one of our best results. But what about me, or what about the average? What about the other clients that you're working with? In July alone, this was cool. I didn't even know this until 5 minutes before the webinar. Our clients sold $132,221.34 of float therapy sessions from our advertising in July alone, tracked. That's just the tracked revenue. That's not additional revenue that didn't come from tracked. Our average client, because we have 19 activated in July, added $6,959 in revenue in just July alone. All right, and most of the people got activated somewhere in the middle of the month. So I expect these numbers for August to double. I expect these numbers to double, but right now this is just literally what has happened in July alone. And so now that I've shown you how to get more people to show up to appointments so you can get to full occupancy quickly by using the artificial intelligence lead nurturing, if you followed what I shared with you today, right? If you created a value-based offer anywhere from $497 to $697, if you changed your sales choreography so you don't have to do the post-float sales pitches, and you can actually have a process where people are excited to buy rather than hating to be sold, right? And if you had a system that could just handle all of your lead nurturing for you, all of the follow-up, so that you never have to worry about trying to reach more people, and you can just worry about the people that are in front of you and taking care of the people that are coming into your float center, do you think that you could hit your monthly revenue goal? That's not a rhetorical question. If you could put that in the chat. If you did all of those 3 things, if you put together an offer, if you changed your sales process and you reversed it, and if you had a lead nurturing system that could follow up with all of those interested people, do you think that you could hit your monthly revenue goal? Do you think that it would be possible? That it would be possible to get to full occupancy? Brent says possibly. Y'all are scared to say yes. It's all good. Okay, Hannon says, there we go. 1,000,000% yes. Okay, awesome. So I hope you guys are excited about what we just talked about. We spent, I don't know what time it is here, spent the past hour and a half, and I appreciate the time that we've had to share this with you. Who's feeling a little overwhelmed because we covered so much information? Is anyone like, oh my goodness, this is just, my brain is hurting. There's so many new things. Cawthon, how are you feeling?
I'm trying. I'm taking it in as much as I can, bro. This is a lot. This is good shit, though. My language.
I like that. Excited. Awesome. Okay, cool. And so I got to ask permission first. Is it okay if I share with you all how Maximum Floats can help you guys implement this? Because if not, I can just say, hey, Cawthon, let's do the free ticket giveaway. We'll close out the webinar. Things will be good.
Come on, man. Do not tease my clients like that, please.
Awesome, please. Yes. Okay. Awesome. Let's do it. Let's do it. So every month that goes by where you're not at full capacity, we all know this, is thousands of dollars in opportunity costs, right? Because it doesn't matter if you have a float pod or a float tank that's there. That's not the thing that's generating revenue. The thing that generates revenue is that people are in the float pod, right? So to put together everything that we talked about today with a whole offer, a sales script, and a marketing system, let alone like figuring out artificial intelligence, that could take years and buckets of money to implement on your own. So Maximum Floats has put together something specifically for you guys on this webinar. We already have a 6-week stress release program that is proven in work. So all the little extra things that we talked about with the float therapy offer, you don't even have to worry about that. We will just give you what all of our other clients are using. Hundreds of people have already purchased the 6-week stress release program and are getting great results with it. And we're just going to give that to you. So that way you don't have to worry about the fulfillment. The only thing you need to do is keep doing what you're doing and then start having conversations. We can get you set up on the program and run all of your advertising, and to align with each of you during this crazy time right now, we're not going to charge a monthly marketing retainer. So any other business probably on the planet, with the exception of a few, they're going to say, hey, pay me a monthly fee, pay me this, pay me that, because they're not sure if they can get you results. And so we want to align with you guys. After you invest in the setup and starting with us, we are only going to continue to get paid if people book an appointment on the calendar with you for a consultation and they actually show up. So they actually walk in the door for your business. On top of that, we're gonna do something a little crazy and completely remove the risk to you. For any new clients this month, and I guess the first week of August, because you'll probably have to schedule a call the first week of August, we're going to guarantee you will get 20 consultations that show up in 45 days or less, or you'll get a full refund on all the fees that you spent with us, and we'll send you a $1,000 check for wasting your time. How's that for a guarantee, Cawthon?
Sign me up. Sign me up.
So every float center situation is different. So it's best if we can talk with you directly, because we're going to go over how many tanks you have, how many pods you have, how much capacity you can have to grow. If you have room for growing, like if you can put a third pod in there, if you can put a fourth, a fifth, or a sixth, if you have plans on opening a second location, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to break this down using numbers, not emotions. So right now you might be super excited and that could be like sell you anything and you just buy it. But I want to make sure this is actually a good fit for you and then it makes sense financially. So we'll go over that on a direct sales call. This is an actual screenshot of my team's calendar. So my calendar's not even on here. It's just Alex and Rebecca that work with us full time. And as you can see, it's pretty freaking packed, which means that we have a few spots each week to be able to bring in new clients. And I'm here to tell you guys that we don't ever want to bring on too many people that other people stop getting results, because at the end of the day, we only get paid if people actually show up. So what we're going to do here now is if you want to go to maximumfloats.com/floatpod, you can schedule a call right now. And this will be directly with my business partner, Alex Greco. There's absolutely no pressure to join. So if this is something that you're really excited about and you know it's going to benefit your business and you know that this path, the consultation path, is the way to get to full occupancy, then you should schedule a call and just look over the numbers very, very plainly and just see if this is going to work out and make sense for your business. We really only want to work with people who see the vision of the consultation model and are willing to do what it takes to be successful with it. So the reason you saw Christian close $54,000 in floats across 2 locations in 30 days is because him and his team, they work hard and they're committed to being successful. And everyone that was on this webinar at the very beginning, I saw a bunch of people saying, I'm committed, I'm committed, I'm committed, I'm committed to making this happen. You guys are the people that we want to be working with, because we can only get paid if people are showing up to your business and you guys are being successful. We're not a marketing agency. We're a growth company. We are a cash injection company, whatever you want to call it, but we're not here to just run ads for you. We are here to help you make more money in your business and to become financially free as a float tank owner. All right, that's what our mission is at Maximum Floats, is we want to take you from where you're at right now to the path toward actual financial freedom, where you can make enough money that you can actually take a profit out of your float center and that you can have the team that you want and work the hours that you want. So if that's you, you can go to MaximumFloats.com/floatpod, and I will literally walk us through the process right now. I think today is already booked up. So MaximumFloats.com/floatpod. Just put that in your browser. I'll put it in the Zoom chat here too. MaximumFloats.com/floatpod. And here's Alex's calendar. You're going to have to bump over to the next month here. So just click view next month, and then just find a time that's convenient for you. All right. Looks like somebody's already booked up. So find a time that's convenient. Saturday is probably best. So Saturday or Monday. Choose that time. Monday only has one time. So let's say Tuesday. I'm just going to choose a random time here. You're going to book in, punch in your name and email. If you have anyone else on your team who needs to be on this call, we really don't have time to be doing multiple calls with every single person. So if you have another business partner, another key person that is here to make decisions for your business, make sure they're on that call too. And we can brief them on how the consultation model works and make sure this makes sense. So I'll just put an example, punch in your phone number and your center. Once you schedule the call, in order for us to best help you on that call, there's a little application right here, right after you schedule. You just fill it out and it'll pop up here. So just name, email address, your website, how much you're currently spending on advertising if you have an agency, what's your biggest obstacle, these type of things. And then finally, this last one, which is really important, is what makes you different from other people that are applying to work with us and why should we choose you? So again, we don't charge a monthly retainer, which means that if you do not have your calendar open to take appointments, then we don't really make money as a business. And we want to align with other people who see the vision and want to go where we're going, which is the path where you can actually have full occupancy inside of your flow center. You can finally take an income for yourself. That's what we care about. And if you don't want to make more money, if you don't want to open up your calendar, if you don't want to do consultations, if you don't want to put in the work, then this probably isn't the best fit for you. But if you're willing to put in the work, this system is proven and it works. So let me go back to the slides here. Go to MaximumFloats.com/floatpod, schedule your strategy session, and fill out that short application form. And as promised, for all the people on, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and download the list of participants. So there's 14 people live. We're just going to download the list of participants, and then I will send this out to whoever this is. I'm going to make a decision tonight. Me and Cawthon will link up. We'll probably put it on a random generator, and we'll just choose one random person to go to the Float conference, and we'll get that out to you. So anyone who made it this far, you guys will be entered into that drawing for the Float conference. At this point, I will open it up to questions, either from Cawthon or from anyone who's on the Zoom. But before we do that, I have been drinking tons of water, so I'm going to take a 2-minute break, probably 30-second break, but I'll be back in a second. Cawthon, if you want to talk.
Yeah, I got it. So yeah, guys, I wanted to first off thank Maximum Floats for putting this together. They've worked really hard, obviously, traveling around the world and gathering this wonderful strategy to help you guys out. And of course, I want to thank our FloatPod clients for tuning in today, as well as all of our other clients out there, just because you guys have been loyal. And again, as what we talked about today, staying committed to offering this service to people. I'm very passionate about mental health and physical health. Mental health, as far as mental health goes, that's why I got into this business. I'm very passionate about the circadian rhythm and how to make the most out of your productivity and getting the most out of your 24-hour day and night cycle. So yeah, anyway, I want to thank you guys as our customers. And again, Maximum Floats, they came in wonderfully to offer this service in such a time that's tough right now with the COVID stuff. Hopefully things turn around and you can only add more, if you want to say more, using this strategy, getting more clients in outside of that, outside of the COVID stuff should even help even more. Last but not least, again, the MaximumFloats.com/floatpod. That'll get you a link so you can schedule with the guys. And then as well, we do have our July special ending today. We are going to have a August special as well. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, Cawthon@floatpod.com. Again, 866-295-8199, extension 2 will get you in touch with me. Thanks again. I appreciate you, Kyle.
Awesome, brother. I've got Hannah in here. She says, do you have any tips on assuring clients how sanitary the float pod is? So again, this is another big problem we experienced when we were just offering discounts, is it was really hard to communicate anything to the client. But when you have a consultation, they don't know much until they come in. And it's really easy to explain to someone one-on-one how something is, right? So when they come in, before they even bring it up, you can say, hey, these are our float pods, and I wanted to share with you how the filtration system works, how we have, a 1/4 micron filter, and we've got an ozone. I'm not sure exactly how the float pod technology works, but you share it with them. And then that way, before they even bring it up, they realize, oh, this place is super clean, and I'm excited to do it. Additionally, for people during COVID times, depending on where you're at, I mean, most people are wearing masks, but we have not had a problem at all with consultations in terms of the conversion rate with wearing a mask and just keeping it socially distanced and keeping it clean. So that hasn't been an issue at all. And in fact, the biggest objection that we hear on our daily sales trainings with Alex, so Alex will actually be training you every single day. Once you sign up for the program, you can hop on those, and that way you can keep that closing rate up, which is awesome. But the biggest objection that we hear is when people have like the Samadhi tanks or really any other tank that isn't a float pod. The float pod is really one of the most beautiful and easily accessible like pods for the marketplace. Like it doesn't look super scary to get into like a Samadhi tank does. So you really are probably not going to have any problems with that at all.
We appreciate that, Kyle.
Yeah, man. Let me see. Just going to pull up the Q&A here. So I have patients to go see. Is this recorded so I can review it? Yeah, we'll go ahead and drop the recording. I'll send out the recording to everyone after this. Then Kevin Hill says, do you have advice you can share with us today on how to run the consultations and follow-up? How to run consultations and follow-ups. Okay, Kevin, if you could just be a little bit more specific, are you talking about the follow-ups on leads, people that have never been in for a consultation, or following up with the clients after they've purchased the program? So if you could just put that in there. But a quick little recap of how to run the consultation is pretty much somebody will come in for their consult. They'll say, hey, I'm here for my consult. And you should already know that because they're on their calendar. You can say, hey, Cawthon, great to see you. Hey, can I offer you some tea or some water or anything like that? Just how you would if someone was going to come in for a float session. Cawthon, let me grab you some tea. Here you go, man. Hey.
Sure. Thank you.
Fantastic. Hey, we're going to get going with your consultation. But before we do, is it all right if you just fill this form out really quick for me? Perfect. Right, so Cawthon fills out this form. It asks some questions about whatever your program is about. So if your program is about stress, like the program we have, it'll ask them some questions about stress. It'll be like, so, how stressed are you? What things have you tried in the past to reduce your stress? Why are you here today? How did you find out about us? Things like that. And then essentially you'll come over to them and then you'll set the agenda and you'll say, hey, Cawthon, so what we're going to do during this consultation is I'm going to learn a little bit more about you and where you're at right now. Where you want to go in terms of your stress and your feelings with peace and ease. And I'm actually going to bring you in the back and show you what the float pod looks like and talk to you about how this can benefit your life. And then if it sounds like you're at a place where we can help you with our program, then I'll offer that to you. Does that sound fair? And Cawthon's like,
Fair.
sounds fair. Cool. And then I'd say, hey, Cawthon, so tell me what's going on, man. Like, why did you click on the ad? What brought you in here today? Why are you here with me today? You know, it's like, oh, I'm super stressed out or all these things. And then you just ask them more questions about that. You figure out what the real reason that they're there. Because they could say, I'm stressed out. And then you go a little bit deeper. It's like, oh, okay, like what kind of things are going on? It's like, well, you know, I'm recently divorced, or this happened, or whatever. COVID, right? Like just COVID. Like I wish I could be talking to people. I'm not socializing enough. It's like, okay, I totally understand. So how is that making you feel as a person? It's like, well, I'm super agitated when I'm with my kids. I have a really hard time being present. I'm always on social media. All right, like what would your life look like if you had that fixed? It's like, well, it would look like I'd actually be present. I'd be enjoying the moment. I would X, Y, and Z. And then sometimes you have someone that comes in that they're like a wellness expert, and you're probably not going to help them with a program. Like they could probably teach you a program, like, right? But in that case, you would just say, hey, I don't think the 6-week stress release program is a great fit. Let's just get you in for a couple of floats and see how it goes. Like, why don't you just do 3 floats? You get a 3-pack. So the beautiful thing about a consultation is no matter where they come in from, no matter why they're coming in, you are building in a process where you're actually going to understand if what you have to offer is going to fit their needs. And if the 6-week stress release program isn't a good fit for them, then you're going to offer something else, like a 3-pack or even a single float, but you don't need to use discounts anymore. Bobby Cool says, are there specific days that tend to draw more consultations, weekends versus weekdays? So Bobby, the most popular times, I'll just put this on the calendar here. So our minimum required availability for working with us on the guarantee is Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., 2 p.m. to 7 p.m., and then Saturday, 9 a.m. to noon. The reason that we choose those times is because they have the highest likelihood for someone to book and the highest likelihood for someone to show up. However, you can really do any of the times of the week, any days of the week. These are just the days and times that you're most likely to get someone to book a consultation and to show up for a consultation. We have some centers that are doing it like 6 days a week from 9 to 9, and then they just take 1 day off per week. Or some are even doing 7 days, 9 to 9, and they just have a team member that helps complement and supplement the consultations. All right, so that's Bobby's. I'm just going to check the comments if there's anything else. Both thanks. Do you have any tips? Okay, cool. Well, hey, Cawthon, you're more than welcome to go, but what I want to do for anyone who's still on here, because we still have, everyone's still here, I'm actually going to pop into our Facebook group and just share a couple other experiences with some other clients that have worked with us, if that sounds fair.
That sounds fair. Okay.
Cool, man. So let me pop out of here. Okay. So here's our Float Therapy Sales Secrets group. If you're not in this group, you got to get in this group. We share tons of free information all the time. There's no like offers like on this webinar. It's literally just free information about how you can benefit your center. Here's Jay Zebarth. He is in Canada. This was his first day of running the consultation system. He actually closed 5 out of 5 consultations at $497. So he made $2,400 in his first day running the consults. Let's listen to what he has to say. And no audio.
Hi everybody, this is Jay Zebarth here in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, and I'm the owner of Z Float. And I started my first day of consultations. I gotta admit, I was nervous, and more importantly than that, I was pretty close to the
Let's see if my internet is not going to die on us while we're doing this.
Hi everybody, this is Jay Zebarth here. I was nervous, and more importantly than that, I was pretty close to the wire on this. My center's been closed for 6 months, and I was one of the last businesses to be allowed to be opened in Ontario. We were in phase 3 of this 3-phase plan. So, I signed up in May, and then I literally couldn't do anything for almost 2 months. We're almost in August. So it was getting to the point where I was like, I don't even know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull this off now. And I decided to just roll the dice and run with it because I think this program is incredible. So today I had I had 5 people show up, and I closed all 5. And it's an amazing feeling. I made $2,500 today. It's incredible. Nobody blinked an eye at the price. Everybody was on board. I think the common theme is everybody's been cooped up and they're stressed to the gills, and they're just looking for connection. They want to be a part of a community. They want to have something that works. They need time for themselves. They just need to get away from everything and start fresh and hit reset. So overall, incredible. I got 15 more of these booked for tomorrow. So I hope I have even more exciting news to share with you guys. But overall, I couldn't be happier with the program. I couldn't be happier with the coaching. I am not a sales guy at all. I've never done sales my entire life until this moment. And so it was all new, but I feel so good. I feel so accomplished, and I'm so happy. So thank you, Kyle and Alex, for all the, and Rebecca, for all the words of wisdom and all the mentorship, and it's paying off huge dividends now. So best of luck to the rest of you, and see you on the other side.
All right, so that was Jay Zebarth from Canada. Here's Sarah Latiano. She actually, pretty crazy, she sells her program for $697, and it's 6 floats, which means her price per float is about $117 per float. This is what she had to say.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Sarah. I am the owner of Float 41, located in Connecticut. I just wanted to jump on and give a really quick recap of week 1 working with Maximum Floats with Alex, Kyle, and Rebecca. It's been a pretty wonderful week, and I just kind of wanted to share the news with everybody. We're wrapping up day 8. And we have to date had 63 appointments scheduled. So I just opened up the floodgates and opened up our scheduling as much as possible, and to have 2 people in each slot. And that's really helped fill the calendar. The first couple of days we had quite a large number of no-shows, which was, a lot to take in the first couple of days, but that has definitely leveled out. So, our show rate is increasing, and the people coming in have been really quality. We've had 22 appointments come in and people show up, and of those 22, I've been able to sell and close 12 programs. I have 6 more right behind it that are just waiting to figure things out or talk to somebody to see if they want to do it with them. So those numbers could increase pretty quickly. We're located in Connecticut, and I just wanted to let everybody know that our packages, we've been offering them at the higher end. So I decided to sell them for $697 here because of where we're located, but also because our float center, we operate on 2-hour time blocks. So for this program, I am offering the 90-minute extended float for these sessions. And I've budgeted about $25 to $30 per person in quality swag or items that they get for enrolling in the program. So we have a journal, a water bottle, a tote bag, essential oil roller ball, and other things to really help them be successful in this program. And the response has been really incredible for the community. And so thanks, guys. This has been absolutely incredible. Find that fire inside of you and speak from your heart, and people will definitely respond. In 8 days, we brought in contract amounts over $8,400. So pretty awesome week. I can't wait for weeks to come. Have a great night.
So this is actually, I think, Float 41's pretty much their first week in business. They were planning on opening before COVID, and then COVID happened. This is actually their first time being able to open their doors. So she's super excited. She actually signed up for this program and hasn't even told her husband about the results yet, because she just wants to rub it in his face that things went well, because he was unsure about it. Yeah, there's more in here. This is Scott DeLorenzo from True Rest. So he's at a franchise. So pretty much any model, what he's done is, instead of selling programs. He actually mainly focuses on just selling a weekly membership, and he says, hey, why don't you just get on a weekly membership and we'll give you the 6-week program for free. So there's 2 ways to do it. You can just get a lot of cash up front, or you can just sign people up on weekly recurrings all day long. Because if you get 2 weekly members and you do that 5 days a week, you're getting 10 weekly members a week, which is like 40 weekly members a month. And that's the equivalent of 160 monthly members in a single month, which is pretty awesome. And here's Corey Gordon. Let's hear what she had to say.
And I own Natural Elements Float and Wellness Center in Brandon, Manitoba, Canada. I was asked by Alex and Kyle to just jump onto the Facebook group and report in as to how my first week went. I started with consultations this past Wednesday, and since Wednesday I've had 22 appointments scheduled for this past week. I have lots of more scheduled for next week as well. Of the 22 that were scheduled, I signed up 8 people, and I have 4 more that are getting back to me tomorrow and letting me know whether or not they're ready to start now or if they're wanting to wait into August. So it's been quite the week. I'm very happy with the results. Today alone, I had 6 consultations scheduled, 4 of which showed up, and I signed 5 packages at full price today. One of them is signing their daughter up, and they're participating together. So that was kind of exciting, getting the 4 for 4 and the additional one. So far, I'm extremely happy with the results and look forward to seeing what happens as I continue through with the program. Thanks for your help, Alex and Kyle and Rebecca. I appreciate you guys being there whenever I've got questions, and so far, so good. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Awesome. So that's Corey Gordon. She's got her own float center. I believe she has 2 float rooms. And Hannon, I went ahead and put that Facebook group link in the chat there. It's facebook.com/groups/float therapy sales secrets. You can click in there. We have testimonials and videos. We share just live value inside of this group. It's a free group. And yeah, this is Corey. So she actually had one day where 4 people showed up and she sold 5 programs because one of the individuals loved the idea so much that she actually wanted to add her daughter onto it as well. You can see we just got like a lot of content in here, but I just wanted to show you those for everyone who is still on. Looks like we actually added a person in the past like 2 minutes here, but I put that Facebook group in there. If there's any other questions, I can go ahead and handle that right now. If not, looks like one more in the Q&A. Let me see if I can pull this up. Can you see the Q&A, Cawthon?
I do, yeah. I was going to say as well, man, I mean, this is honestly what a lot of our, hearing more and more and more about this program and everything you guys have to offer. Really, it's when I go out to places, I told you I've been to hundreds of locations at this point, have installed hundreds of pods, and, Flow Pod and others alike. It's one of those things where this is a lot of the things that people ask for when I'm out on site and out at these facilities. So I really greatly appreciate, again, it's going to be a huge, huge thing for these facilities because, again, starting off on the right track, starting off on the right foot, that's the hardest thing to do, especially when you're in a newer industry. I know our industry's been around for at least, 50 years or so, but as far as actually being a full-fledged industry, look at the last 10 years, how much it's grown. So, yeah, having a strategy like yours again is a huge ordeal. But yeah, there is someone I run every 2 hours. That's from Brent again. That was the last thing on there. That's the last thing I see.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that.
Yes, indeed.
Cool. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. I'm super excited and super grateful, Cawthon, that you had us on here. I think we had a great time, great show up. We had 13 people on the live the whole time. So this is awesome. And I really look forward to seeing all of you scheduling calls with Alex. So Brent, thank you so much. I'm just going to call everyone out. Thank you all personally. Ambrosia, thank you. Bobby, appreciate you. Christina, I'll get you the replay. Make sure you get that. Eleanor, thank you. Hannon, thank you. Kevin, thank you. Melissa, thank you. Patrick, look forward to seeing you all on calls next week on Alex's calendar. So appreciate you all. Cawthon, have a great night, man. Where are you at right now?
I'm in Indianapolis, Indiana, back home. I'll be traveling out next couple weeks again. So installs are
Sounds
starting.
good, man. It started raining here in Austin. Check this out. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, no, can't see it. Oh, I can see it there, yeah.
Yeah, it's stormy, man. It's stormy. So I was worried that the internet was going to go out. But anyways, thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Happy Friday, and we'll see you around. Cheers.
Cheers.